taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Jazzercise.
The most ridiculous intro in all of live streaming and podcasting. Welcome to the Path Forward.
What's happening, y'all?
Dude,
how you doing, Bill?
We are just not gonna take ourselves too seriously. Is the thing that I love about that. Is like nice moves, dude. Show it, girl.
Like Richard Simmons style, you know.
Totally, dude. Someday, watch out, people. Who knows what's next for us? So.
Our aerobics videos coming out.
I'm trying to get my tassels on my hoodie here.
Path Forward, Tushies Forward.
Oh man, I'm excited today because we have some stuff to share, a little realization on my part that I think is an opportunity to bring a lot of what we've talked about and make it very tangible potentially for you. For some of you, I am definitely, kind of focusing this on folks that might be interested in a side hustle, but don't want to create all of that themselves.
And I'm excited to hear more about it, man.
Yeah.
What's this big revelation?
Yeah. Well, I think, just to paint the picture and hopefully tantalize some folks that, I think there's a lot of chatting and we were just talking about, what side hustle is and, you see and hear about it on social media, people saying, oh, you should have more than one source of income. You should get a side hustle and selling you all of these systems and ways to help you or to build that potentially seems to be a big part, right, of social media culture.
Definitely.
Online culture. And it's shifting a lot and it is legitimately exciting and interesting. But I think what most people know, probably most people watching this at some point know, is that that really takes something, right? Like they're like, hey, that might be interesting, but I'm working a job and I don't really want to work 20 more hours every week on top of the 30 or 40 that I'm putting in.
Yeah, the Photoshop Lamborghini that you rented is is great, but like how to do it. So you're kind of, presenting it not on a silver platter, but in a more like, hey, this is an existing business ready to go. Just run with it, right?
Exactly. We have a lot of existing infrastructure around several business opportunities and some that we would build towards, where it's more like, what if you're a working professional or in our community and you're interested in putting in 4 hours a week towards something and having a share in it, or a little more or as allows, right? Because if you're off there, a lot of this social media culture that I see, a lot of the, hey, here's how to do this is all saying you go do it. This is something you go and do. And I think it's a part of our culture, particularly in the United States, maybe not everywhere, that you go build something else yourself and then you reap the rewards and get the photoshopped Lamborghini, right? Or the rented Lamborghini or whatever it is that, we see these aspirational and desirable lifestyles that people are showing. And I think for us, we've been very practical here at the Path Forward about a lot of important ideas, right? And what's possible in our Path Forward. And again, if you just go to the website to pathforward.net, this isn't a mystery. It's not something that's hidden. There is text explaining what our show is about, what our goals are, and our ethos, our style, if you will. pretty straightforwardly explained. I mean, what is being explained is complicated, but I think it's set out pretty clearly. It's a little dense, maybe. So, it takes a little reading and checking out. Thank you, Pasquale, for popping that up there. Yes, all the skills. I just got it for you. So, I mean, really, I think it is seeing and reading and connecting with things, though, that happens. It clarifies things for me, but it's about practicing these solutions, doing this. So what are we talking about here? Let's just share and get in and start doing it, and what some of these possible opportunities are, that if you're interested in a jewelry business, if you're interested in making music with us, let's look at the Side Hustle Cooperative. So we need theme music. We don't even have the theme music yet, but it is definitely some version of a modern bump, but with a maybe some West Coast bounce there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you sucker. Every hero needs some hero music.
Exactly, your theme music. So, I mean, that is how I want people to feel, though, right? Like, if there's an opportunity to have a side hustle, but make it a cooperative. So that, just saying it's a cooperative, where that means like each participant has a share. You would get shares, literally just like you get shares in a company, just like in the stock market, except those are public. This is restricted, right? You can run an organization, a cooperative, so that those members literally become a member of the cooperative, each have equal restricted shares. Ideally, they're artistic and cool, like the actual piece of paper is an artist that creates something that is a collectible, that is cool and shareable, or desirable to hold on to. You just went to a conference about NFTs. Are you starting to see all the connections here, people? But let me just make this first point, saying a cooperative, of our 5 main concepts. Oh, there we go. A little Escuela de Samba. That's
so sorry. Oh, so sorry. Technical difficulties.
We're not absolutely perfect here, people, believe it or not, but we're doing it.
By the way, I respect that font that you use, brother. That's
thank you, my man. Thank you. I wanted like a little cursive, feel to it. So
a little elegance,
right?
Powerful yet elegant.
This is iteration literally barely 1.0. It is about calling in you listening as a community to become members in what I want to start talking about as the Side Hustle Cooperative. You own a share and you get to benefit from the businesses that are pursued, essentially. And one or more of them might be something that you're interested in. So I have a very we've built out, this is what Diamonds and Music has become, is temperate and tropical, a global jewelry boutique online. I know it's maybe a little annoying to only show part of the page, but I think doing these a little bit in stages might just help. It helps with my focus, and I could have put them on individual pages. I guess I could do that. So that is, there's just, this is really what sparked me around this. And there's definitely some folks in and around the Seattle area that we connected with as we were doing Diamonds and Music in its first evolution. And all of this is interconnected. I hope that's clear. But I really decided to break the jewelry part into maybe its own site in order to market it clearly to people, so that there's a real clear message around that of, hey, you can run Instagram ads and images. And we're not quite there yet because the site is still being built. But that's the point. I have web developers that are paid for a year for websites for each of these businesses. You don't have to go do that. I have an existing business entity, although we're going to create the cooperative, right? There's a lot of infrastructure accounting that goes into building and setting up a business that could be a side hustle, that a lot of, not all, but a lot of that infrastructure is here and exists, and we have some experience. I'm just also now working more of a full-time job and can't do it all on my own. But I realized I have so much, It's like I'm 75% of the way there on a lot
Sure.
of this. Have the jewelry, have the distributors, right? Particularly in creative Brazil, who we've talked about. I mean, you can go back and look at our Diamonds and Music live streams. There's lots that we've shared around this on the Path Forward. None of this is too big of a news flash of anything I'm talking about. But we have a jewelry line from Brazil to start with, and I have this vision of these, fashion jewelry to semi, I guess you'd say, precious jewelry on Jalucci's business, right? We have is it formal or precious jewelry?
Yeah, fine, exactly. Fine jewelry, and so tempered and tropical is more fashion jewelry. So how would it work? What's it like? What? Okay, I sign up for it. I work on it. It's like a fractional ownership. So like we drive sales and then get like a 10% whatever you work on, right?
You own a share of the
That's
company.
great.
It's
'Cause
profits. You own
yeah.
a percentage and a share of that business, and then
Hmm.
I think personally, but in a cooperative, it's democratic. I think personally, compensation should be tied to work. And we see in some organizations, some people might fall in love with one of these ideas and really help drive something, that then there should be an agreed on structure where, yes, we're all members, but then there can be, this comes in many different forms. Oftentimes we hear it as like commission based or incentives based, right? Professional sports players. There's lots of the I follow the NFL. You and I occasionally talk about the NFL now. It's free agency and there's lots of big contracts being signed, millions of dollars. Well, look, incentives are built into those contracts. This is not some foreign concept. This exists. It's not that difficult to build in. Hey, I am a member. I'm a member of a team. Literally, in my analogy, if you're an NFL football player, you have an amount that you receive, but your own personal success can be built off of incentives based on your own performance, so that, when Michelle goes and outperforms Brian or works really hard at something, Michelle gets more, right? I mean, that's only fair. Um, in specifically the jewelry business, there are sales that are directly linked to that, right? So there's building and setting it up. But if you go make sales, and that's not just to individuals who buy and wear the jewelry, that's also, you got to realize, to like other stores, other boutiques up and down the West Coast that might want to buy jewelry through us at a more wholesale rate from these global jewelers and brands. So Brazilian, Turkish, this beautiful Turkish designer. I mean, all of this is stuff to be gotten into next. It would be so cool to show that, but we're hitting the highlights here, and we could unfold each of these businesses. A Danish jewelry design and boutique Creole that's been around for decades. Designers out of the Pacific Northwest that are using materials from the forest and the crystals and semi-precious stones of the Pacific Northwest. Products that have real integrity and a connection to nature. That is why temperate and tropical, the two great rainforests, the two great climates that are the lungs of planet Earth and our global culture.
I
And,
love that.
and to be developed by the team that gets excited about jewelry, that wants to be a part of an e-commerce boutique. Like, I don't want to set up a whole e-commerce business myself, but man, you're telling me if you've got most of this built and I could kind of join a team and have some camaraderie and community with some other people, and we can start practicing some of the values that we're talking about on the path forward and actually
Mm.
doing that in action, and be making some money and have a cool brand and help sharing that in our communities. Obviously, it has to be, product and a website and a brand and a story that you, if you're interested, believe in. And that's the point, is you would be helping tell that story and build that business, but not all on your own. And in this instance, 75% of the infrastructure is there.
That's cool, and it's like you were talking about, going back to the idea of cooperatives. Like this is a
Yes.
modern day version of that. That's I think scalable. Imagine, 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 different, businesses, and it's a little bit different than affiliate marketing, because I was thinking about the distinction, and
Mm, please.
because you actually get a chance to build it from the ground up.
Oh, excuse me. I should have muted. Pardon me.
Salud.
Gracias.
Ye-
Saúde.
Saúde. Yeah. So, and this model I think is really interesting. I'd love to explore it more, man.
Yeah, I mean that is the thing. Let's hit the highlights today. See who's interested. Put this out. I'm going to be sending this link to this episode to folks that I think are interested. And as
Awesome.
you hear or see this, so just in that connection to Brazil, the second opportunity, something that I'm starting to work on, and from our recent trip, if you just go back one episode of the Path Forward, we were literally talking about our trip to Brazil. This is beijos, which means kisses, Brazilian kiss. So it's beijos, Brazilian kiss, which I think we discovered in Carnival in Brazil. There is a spray that is a mixture of a local fruit. I won't kind of give all of the recipe away right now, that has a numbing effect and gives you a little buzz. And it's oftentimes mixed with a bit of alcohol, their local kinshasa, like a herbal remedy would be, right? We see a whole world of herbal remedies. Start thinking about music festivals this whole summer, being in a music festival or an event. And what, in my experience, I've never really seen people in North America, not just the United States and the West Coast, I think is kind of our home territory. We're inviting people from all over, but in Brazil, it was super, super fun, especially when it's hot out. You just have a little spray bottle. You have like a 5 to 10 ounce spray bottle, and you spray it in your mouth or your friend's mouths, and it has a cooling effect. It's a little numbing, and it enhances kisses. So
Ooh,
you
I
spray
love
it,
that.
get a little buzz and feel good and have this herbal, all natural, again, there's this connection to nature in the products of Temperate and Tropical. In here, we're talking about a very clean, all natural product that you spray, you get a little cool, you feel a little buzz. That's great. And it enhances kissing. And I think kissing and more kisses in the world is a great thing.
More kisses in the world we need. Yeah, absolutely, brother. And I'm thinking of like, remember Banaka, like the
Yeah.
tiny little. You could do a larger bottle or even the small ones. Like I totally
Yeah.
had this
It's
visualization of that.
so funny you were saying that. I was looking for Banaka in a grocery store, and it doesn't really exist, maybe because of the propellant. I imagine maybe you can find it somewhere online, but I have the feeling that,
Some expired, like
totally, it may not be around because, well, I don't know, maybe it was a business thing, but maybe it also isn't very good for you. What was in it. And there's a lot of products, right? There's a lot of focus now on what is
of course.
going in your
What are we actually consuming? Yeah, that's
Yeah, and there is an awareness around this in Brazil and this product and the fun of it. And yeah, I mean, I got a couple of people who already sort of have done products at music festivals, looking at stuff. I'm looking at you, my homie Boo, on this one. I'm going to be sending it to, and this is just a fun product that I don't think is in the North American market, that gives a buzz. And I mean, there's a real opportunity. It is liquid, which can be expensive, but when you're talking about a little spray bottle and you're buying it in larger bottles, and then think of little spray bottles like, $10.
yeah, dude, it's so much fun, especially like you're talking about, like festival culture and just like, or going to a special event, a concert, Coachella, etc., Bonnaroo, High Sierra.
So
There's
many, right?
literally thousands of people that I think would
Yeah.
really enjoy that.
Just local shows or just at home. You know what? Wherever you want to enhance a kiss, or you like kisses, or you want to have some fun, or the friends. I think that thing and that whole the culture and ethos of how it already exists in Carnival in Brazil is fun and romantic. And there is a lot more like casual kissing in part, like just kissing on the cheeks, as we know is typical in Europe. Like that is part of it, and just like a thing of like kissing in the streets.
For sure. Yeah, just like dogs, sniff each other out, like Brazilians just kiss, you know, that's how you say hello, right? And no,
Sorry.
honestly, all kidding aside, like I think it's a really fun idea, man.
It could be super fun. It's a fun cultural thing. Again, it depends on who gets excited about these ideas. And we're building towards some businesses that can start making more of a difference. So here we're going directly in to you and I and what we've been doing. Diamonds in Music is a global record label and music production.
Wait, back it up. Let's do a transition.
Okay. I need my samba shake like that.
I love samba. Yes, I love samba.
Yes, I love samba. This is how you can clap samba, people. We talked about this in our last episode, just related to Brazil. Yes, they're seeing a theme, but dude, we have been to Cuba. We have what I consider this pantheon, and in the United States and in Europe, of global all-star musicians. And you and I want to unite what you do, what we do together, our aspirations in Diamonds in Music. We started this live streaming here. We flipped it to incorporate the podcast and kind of be the place to talk about these things. I think it's the record label, website, and distribution. We have experience making music for decades. I worked in the music business for a decade. We have a lot of incredible musicians in places like Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Los Angeles, California, Washington, D.C., Havana, Cuba, Santiago, Cuba, Rio, Brazil, London, England, and surrounding areas, Rome, Italy, Athena, Italy, Granada, Spain, South Africa, specifically not Johannesburg. Why am I blanking on the second largest city?
And a whole lot of places you ain't never heard of.
A lot of places you ain't never heard. Literally, just like those are the current stars, the points of light musically in a constellation of incredible possibilities. And we understand, have lined up digital distribution at an affordable rate. Like, just anyone who wants to help build a world music, global music record label, produce and bring together some incredible artists to make some music that is either purely of folkloric origins, like a global tradition, a tradition of country, electronic music, combinations of the two. We know a lot of musicians and producers, people that are interested in these projects. Hopefully we can continue to entice them, and bring some budget to these projects. What else do you want to say about all that?
Basically, if you imagine the Harlem Globetrotters, the Transformers, and Voltron, and the Thundercats all rolled up into one, baby. We're talking about the baddest musicians worldwide, and we're coming together, and we're producing some of the dopest music you've heard. So look out, because here we come, baby. It is going to be on fire.
And it's for us, I want to say too.
Exactly.
Like, others might have aspirations, but my experience in music is you create something that flips your switch,
that lights us up. Exactly.
That lights us up. And inviting you into that with Pasquale and I, because again, like we are going to do this. We are doing that ourselves for sure. We have a collective of musicians, but it takes something, and no matter what, we can't do it all ourselves.
Nope. And it's not as much
this happen. There is music that we want to make happen, but I think there are others that might want to join us, and you may make other music in your life, right? But this flavor of music, our vision might inspire you also, and you would dig participating part-time around these projects and having a share in this business and in its success, and seeing some of this music that to me, the ultimate test, literally, my goal is so that we can go ride around in a car with a booming sound system in LA with the windows down and be rocking out to music, to beats with global rhythm patterns like samba, like rumba, that are programmed in both organic analog percussion on top of programmed percussion. Think of like an 808, drum machine and kick over the top of Pasquale and other artists playing percussion and a wicked bass player. And that's it. And I'm bumping that shit so hard that there is nothing else I would rather listen to. It gets me down as hard as I can get down. And I feel good rolling up next to anybody and sharing what I'm playing.
Absolutely, dog. That's what I'm talking about. And it's like,
It.
where do you see yourself in 10 years? In that same ride.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, brother, is like there's a real like shift in like, hey, like people are producing albums in their bedrooms. Like we don't, look at Billie Eilish and all sorts of artists that literally are platinum, or Grammy award winning artists that literally just do something that they love in their own homes, and this was what it's all about, like the experience of these hypnotic funk grooves from the US and Afrobeat from Nigeria and samba from Brazil, and the folkloric music and the wonderful hypnotic rhythms of Cuba. Like, I'm telling you, it's a party. So
Yes. And
you're invited.
many people listening have heard some of this kind of music already produced. You hear some of it. I'm telling you what is out there, and I'm aware of a large amount of it. I was for work. I mean, I'm not trying to be egotistical about that, but you also have to own what you've done in the world. You know, whatever. I've been involved in dance music since 1989. I one of the greatest honors of my whole life is to see its entire lifespan, essentially. To this day, it is just the tip of the iceberg. What is out there is what I'm saying.
Definitely,
Like,
definitely.
there is beautiful music produced, but so often we see 4/4 rhythms or something put over that, which is part of what we will do. But I think we have our own unique take on that, and we want you to come be a part of that and have your unique take on that also.
We're adding the spice, baby, because imagine just eating the same bland food every day.
Mm,
That's just ain't
mm.
cool.
The level of
It'll get you by, but we're not about survival. We want to thrive.
yeah, and I think, honestly, to me, that also moves towards this line of like towards the sacred. Like
Thank
there
you.
there are these musical experiences and experiences with dance music. I was commenting recently
Thank
that
you.
like there are these amazing holographic shows being done now. There's a group called Afterlife that are doing particularly interesting
Wow.
graphics. There was a lot. The Miami Music Week just wrapped up, and they're on social media on my feeds. I got to
Afterlife. I got to check them out.
yeah,
Flying Lotus as
put
well does some
some of
great
this
graphic
up.
shows.
There are some amazing, interesting artists. Eric Prides, who's a legendary producer and DJ in dance music, had a very, very cool in the same holographic imagery. And it's just the beginning of a lot of that that's powerful, that the music and the lights and the communal experience are powerful, but very rarely do they cross over into the sacred. And I think there are huge opportunities around that, to have a party, to be having a good time, and to use these technologies and this energy to tap into something deeper, which is where a lot of this folkloric music stems from or is sourced from, where these rhythms have the ability to take us to.
Wow. Wow.
and I'm interested in riding in that car, but also playing around with some of that I feel like is fairly new territory. Not shoving it down anybody's throat, just doing it.
That's cool, man. I love that.
Yeah. So we're gonna build kind of from these to some things that we are staples of, if you will, uh, the path forward here. Two of our primary concepts that are, this is a lot of like you learn and you evolve as you practice businesses as we build this towards products that I think will really make a difference in the world. And we haven't done a full episode, in all honesty, on this. Is HOCl, which is an acronym for something that's a little bit of a mouthful that we'll cover. That's hypochlorous acid. Again,
I feel like we should do an infomercial about it or something.
well,
A demonstration.
product. It's an all-natural disinfectant that can change how we cook and clean. A baby can literally drop its pacifier on the ground and you can pick it up and spray it with a spray bottle and then put it back in the baby's mouth. And
Remind me of the URL again, HypoCleanse.
Yeah, so you can just look up hypochlorous acid, but the business that I have built, again, the infrastructure is HypoClean, HOCL.com.
And that's just B2B right now, right?
Clean, CLEAN, HOCL.com. And we'll share links and we'll dig into each of these. It kills COVID. That's why I got involved. It kills Ebola. It is a counterbalance in nature to bacteria and viruses. We're so aware, because of COVID-19 and the pandemic, about the power of viruses now. But nature isn't a lopsided system. And everyone is using bleach and alcohol. And yeah, if you go to the one of the best places to just get started to understand this is, again, and not to, it's just to have information centralized, is at the pathforward.net/concepts. If you just click at the top of the concepts, or there's the address, and you want to read about HOCl, and what I'm about to talk next is biochar, and I'll just move along there, because both of these are connected to me.
HOCl is so important, right? I mean, we've used bleach and all the other messed up products for so many years.
Say that again.
Said HOCl is such a great alternative to bleach and so many of the toxic chemicals that have become literally household names for the past 50 years.
Well, you know that everything that you're using at the grocery store still, or at the doctor's office or the hospital, is mostly alcohol and or bleach. And particularly, we're going to talk about cooking and cleaning. Is where I think we could have real impact, is in the household kitchen and in the restaurant kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
They're ubiquitous, right? Meaning that there are a lot of them, and we all have to eat. Can't really escape that at some point. And we all, around our food, there can be food poisoning. Now, we rely on the industrial food complex for a lot of that, and HOCl, hypochlorous acid, is used in the industrial food complex today. It is in most people in in North America and Canada and the United States, to a lesser degree Mexico, but to some degree the EU, particularly Japan, Korea. It is used much more, the Baltics. It is used in food production. It is sprayed on a lot of berries and fruits. It is used in meat and seafood production and slaughtering in order to manage contaminants. It's not as widely used as bleach. You need to understand that bleach is being used in your food more than you or probably want to know or understand.
It's nasty.
And this is not some woo-woo science. This is EPA certified in the United States. It is the EPA equivalent certified in the European Union. It is USDA certified. It is USDA organic certified, or can be, right? Depends on who you're making it, but the producer, from which again there is large business infrastructure around this that exists, we're selling it business to business to start, which is a business opportunity, particularly internationally, meaning outside the United States. But it takes a lot to build a consumer facing brand. But I'm interested in some of this because the way I use it is I keep it in a spray bottle in my kitchen. And every time I go cut meat and you need to wash that cutting board and those knives right away and there's bacteria, I just spray them with HOCl. When I have, and you know, this is how I have people test the product. Everyone probably knows from some food scraps that their kitchen garbage can get stinky, or if you have a compost bin, get stinky, particularly if you eat meat. Then you take HOCl and you go spray it on your stinky garbage can and watch how it kills back that bacteria and it doesn't smell anymore.
I'm really excited to see. I just want to, I'm sure I'm just excited to actually be able to use it and buy it.
Imagine not having to wash every dish in your kitchen, but being able to spray them with a spray bottle and legitimately having them be clean and safe. You want to
Dude,
rinse
that's awesome.
sometimes afterwards. Of course, you have to remove food scraps, but there's a lot of potential. I'll just kind of leave it at that. I think
Okay.
but if that's what people get the most passionate about because it will make a difference in the world, it is cleaner and better for us as humans, and it is far more ecological. How is it made? It comes from 3 primary ingredients: purified water, which goes through reverse osmosis. That happens in a lot of farms and a lot of our agriculture today. So you purify water. That's like intense filtering in a way. That's the first ingredient, pure water. The second ingredient is salt, pure industrial salt. The third ingredient is electricity. That's it. Those are the
That's
3
it.
ingredients that go through the machine. It also lives inside of all mammals and all human bodies.
So
So
it's a compound that's created and
it's a molecule. Yep. It's a molecule that's a part of, when you say hypochlorous acid, it is a part of the
Mhm.
chlorine family. So if you look at the periodic table and you
Mm,
go to chlorine, then you can open that up, as with many elements, and there's a
sure.
total.
Yeah, whenever you mix more than one element, it becomes a compound. But I'm just excited to actually be able to buy it. That's what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
sure hopefully we have some interest out there, man. And it's a great product. I just want to have. I actually want to use it.
Yeah.
Because
Love it.
you've talked about it a long time, and now it's like, all
Yeah.
right,
And it
where
takes
can I buy it?
Yeah, and there is an existing business, but to have a spray bottle in people's kitchen is something else, right? So it takes a team. Okay, last one that could make a huge difference, and it's almost more around a movement in food, is biochar. You can listen to Path Forward episode 2. We have talked about it again with Mike Mackey again recently. I'll find that episode. We have links for all of this. We can do episodes or conversations around each one of these. Biochar is a legit solution identified by the IPPP, which is the organization from the UN that just released last week, another report on. They're the global authority on the state of climate change, essentially, and
Hmm.
solutions. They pool and organize leading research and have it peer reviewed. So they talk about carbon sequestration, carbon farming, and that out of their primary solutions, which in their largest report ever, there were 9 viable solutions. 5 of them were linked to biochar. There's been tens of millions of dollars of research done by most departments of agriculture in industrialized nations, or by the EU. The United States, not as much. They're behind the EU, particularly Australia has invested a lot. Korea has invested a lot in the research. enormous amounts of very real, very hard research.
Yeah, this is a really, really smart way to do it and a very scalable way. And ironically, ancient cultures, especially in Mesoamerica, they're
Yes.
now discovering that we're using this thousands of years ago and it worked.
Yes. Yes. And it what it is, like, what is that? It's taking bio waste, and there's all kinds of bio waste. I mean, from your own home, but think about industrial bio waste, agriculture, think about your city's bio waste wherever you live. They have huge recreation departments and lots of bio waste, and turning it into charcoal and putting that in the soil, meaning putting it in your garden, putting it in the soil of the farms where we get our food from, and really building a movement, right, in food to sequester massive carbon in our food. So, in the food movement, we have seen organic agriculture, and then now, like, grass-fed beef. Who would have ever thought that, let alone organic food? I mean, go from, we talk about this in the episode, so, we repeat the messages a lot, but 40 years ago, 30 years ago, organic produce was something that was in a small health food store, that you might have in your town if you live in the coasts or maybe other places.
Hmm.
It's in Target and Walmart today.
Yeah, for sure.
We know and see this business revolution, let alone the additions of grass-fed beef or free-range poultry and meat. I mean, these are, still like 5 to 10% of the market, but they've had major market shifts.
The reason I love what we're doing here, man, is that these are real solutions, and this is stuff that you've really thought about and researched, and now are using as the foundation, concepts of what you're talking about. And I just love the fact that these are real solutions, brother, and that
You,
I can get behind them, and people can get behind them, and the more this grows, we can get some real momentum and some real progress.
yep. And these earlier businesses, I think in business, it's about trying some other stuff that might be, fun, but it all depends on who gets
Wait,
involved and passionate about something. But the invitation is to come be a part of the Side Hustle Cooperative and spend a few hours every week around one of these projects, or more than one if someone was so inclined. But to be really practical and real about that, and build a community and have some camaraderie and keep talking about it here. Of course, in all business and all enterprises, there are trials and tribulations, and I'm very interested in being transparent around that here on the Path Forward, around creating these opportunities and discussing how it's going, you know?
absolutely, my brother. Side Hustle Cooperative. How can I help you? Uh, yes, we're having a pizza party on Friday.
Yes.
What
Yes.
is Bill getting a little mohawk there?
Dude, it's the gray hawk. I had a different idea
Let me see the
where
side.
to
Let me
get
do a little
going
profile action.
from
Wow,
Brazil, and then I went to my local barber and he shaved it all off. I should have gone to a salon. That'll be my next move. But we wanted
I'm
some.
digging it though, man. It's kind of like straight edge.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, it's like I'm finally going with a mohawk that's turning gray. It's this is my vibe now.
Yeah, you gotta just grow that thing, like blow dry it, and just 2-3 feet.
Exactly.
Looking great, brother.
Our vibe at the Side Hustle Cooperative. So
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you for sharing all your incredible
yes.
concepts and ideas and your heart and soul. And I'm happy to be a
Thank you
part of it, brother.
for being my ride or die, brother, riding shotgun on everything, man.
Thank you. My Robbie and me.
We got room in the ride for all of y'all. So really, I want to
Absolutely.
send this out. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for spending your time. And please communicate with us around these ideas and come and participate and help us build this. If it's all crickets, then we'll just build what we can and continue to do it on our own. But there's an invitation. We're not talking about a lot of time. We've got infrastructure. and can deep dive on each of these. We just hit the surface, right? And a quick description to build more enthusiasm and desire for participation, and let's just do it.
We're doing it, baby. All right. Well, have a great day, my brother, and everyone out there. Peace out.
Peace.
Path Forward. We'll be back next week.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, everyone. Bye-bye.